Good evening, everyone.
Oh no, everybody waiting for me. I can't hear. Testing. Can everybody hear me? Okay. All right, good. Okay. Unfortunately, I cannot hear anybody, including Richard. Just want to check with everybody can hear me. I can see on the Telegram group that everybody can hear me. Richard, can you try to see whether you can resolve the issue that I can't hear anybody? If not, I'll just jump on straight to my slides in 1 minute. Wonderful. Thanks for replying. Everybody can. I can see you on WhatsApp. Wrong on the Telegram page. Everybody can hear. Thank you. Thank you very much. Richard, once you're ready, I can take over the slides so that I can talk. Okay, you can carry on. I can't hear Richard anyway, but I think everybody can hear me. That's good. Richard, you can take over and do a presentation. When you're done, just let me know and I'll take over. Thank you. Richard, I don't think anybody can hear you. Can you check your sound setting, please? No one can hear you, Richard.
Testing 1, 2.
All right, I can hear you right now. Okay.
Okay. Excellent. All right. So where was I? Let me rewind a bit. Okay, as I was saying, okay, welcome everyone. My name is Richard and I'm one of the committee member of OTCS. Thanks for your patience with us as we sort out a bit of the technical issues and also the delay of 30 minutes before we could start the webinar because of Mr. PM Lee, who wants to make a speech at 8 o'clock. So I trust that many of you have heard him. All right, so let me get into the webinar. And to introduce OTCS, okay? So OTCS stands for Online Traders Club Singapore, and we are a non-profit society formed in 2005. And we are a community of traders and investors. Okay, so to me, OTCS is a place where we network, share, and learn, and we do it through a series of workshops, courses, and our library. Okay, so for workshops, we have about 10 to 12 a year, and it is free for our members. But because of the COVID-19 virus, we have started to do webinar as well. So moving forward, we will also conduct webinar. So once the COVID virus is over, we will have our regular workshops again in person. And during our in-person workshops, we also provide dinner. Okay, simple dinner. Moving along. So before the COVID virus came about, we actually had a large scale in-person workshop at SGX Auditorium, and it's well attended. Okay, so in addition to workshops, we also have about 3 to 6 courses a year where we invite different experts to, we do a group buy of their courses. So we try to bargain down the prices for our members. Okay, so we have about 3 to 6 of that a year. In addition, we have a resource library with over $6,000 worth of products, CDs, and books. So if you're interested to find out what they are, you can download our PDF on our website. Okay, and the details on how to borrow from our library are also found there. So again, OTCS to me is a place where we network, share, and learn, and we do it through a series of workshops, courses, and our library. And the next question is, how much is the membership? All right, so the normal membership fee is $120 a year. And for a time limited only, we are running a special offer for only $60 a year. So if you come to our in-person workshops and you eat dinner for 10 times or 12 times a year, then basically you earn back your membership fee already lah. All right. So to find out how you can join us, please visit onlinetradersclub.org. All right. So and for those of you who have not joined our Telegram channel, please do so. Just search for Online Traders Club in Telegram and you can join our channel, and that's where we will keep you posted of our upcoming events. And for those of you who don't have Telegram, you can also join us on our mailing list by going to our website, onlinetradersclub.org. Okay, so the club is not just run by the committee. We are also assisted by a group of friends, members who are very dear to us, and they help us to run the show as well. And they are called our OTCS crew. So I just want to acknowledge them here. Okay, so, and very importantly, the disclaimer. So basically, you're responsible for your own actions, and the speaker, as well as OTCS, is not responsible for any profits or losses that you may incur. And very importantly, if you want to make any decisions, and if you're not sure, please consult a licensed or authorized professional. All right, so later on, there'll be question and answer segment after Mr. Lu's presentation. So please hold your questions to the end, where you will see a chat box appear wherever you're watching on your devices, and then you can type your questions, and then Mr. Lu will address them. Okay, so without further ado, let us now welcome Mr. Lu to share with us 4M65 and the secrets of how to become a CPF multi-millionaire. All right, so Mr. Lu, I will hand over the stage to you now.
Okay, thank you. Now I've got to now put on my slides first. Sorry guys, this is the first time I'm doing this. We're figuring out, I'm still figuring out how to do it. And okay, all right, okay. I think you guys can see my slides. Can everybody see my slides? Okay, the good thing is that we have got people, oh yes, thank you. We have got people live chatting on the Telegram group, telling me the feedback. Thank you. So what we can do is that we can, well, as I speak, what you can do is for the benefit of the 2,000 members on the Telegram group, what you all can do is some of you all can actually write down certain key points you think are useful, and just share that with the people. And if you have any questions, you can actually write down in the system. I think Richard has actually mentioned that there's a system that you can write down your comments and questions, and later I'll answer the questions one by one. Okay, so without further ado, let's start. First of all, I need to say that this is the first time I'm doing this online. I'm not very good with monologue. I know that there are close to 200 of you guys out there listening to this talk, but unfortunately, I'm now facing my screen and I don't see 200 of you, but I trust that you guys have a great night. Usually, when I share this 1M65 in a time of crashes, I'm actually quite happy. But tonight, the COVID-19 is really very concerning, and later we talk about it. Okay, but let's start. So just a quick check. Usually, I'll ask people how many of you actually were from have listened to my talk before, and how many of you have not listened to my talk before. But I was told by Richard that the split is roughly about maybe half. So for those who have heard my talk before, this is my 74th talk, and there's a part of it they'll overlap and it's the same. Okay, some of you have heard the 4M6, a part of a 4M65 talk last Sunday, where I gave a talk at Divinai Institute. I'll repeat some of this, and today I'll add a lot more content. First caveat is I do not work for the CPF board, and neither do I work for the government. I don't collect a single cent from them from doing this thing. And for those people that don't like the government or don't like CPF, I'm not one of them. I believe in the system, but I'm not one of them. So this is the first caveat. By virtue of you coming to this online seminar, I assume that everybody wants to be a millionaire. Okay, and today I'll be talking about a few things. Okay, number one is I'll give you a quick story of 1M65, 1 million by 65. So a little story of how 1M65 came about, and then I'll talk a lot about 4M65, which everybody seems to be more interested in. And recently, there's more people talking. A lot of people asking me about, Mr. Lu, what are you doing right now? What are you buying? Which share are you buying? When are you buying? That kind of thing. So I decided that once and for all, I'm going to talk about how to take advantage of the market crashes and things like that. Okay. So first and foremost, in 1997, I was hit by I had the experience of being hit by the Asia financial crisis. The Asia financial crisis, in terms of stock market crashes and asset bubble bursting, all this was very bad. Okay, I lost over $100,000 in both my HDB flat, which I bought at a high price and to sell it, and I also have a terrible experience with the stock market. So it was then that I realized that my economics degree is totally worthless when it comes to understanding investments. Okay, but fortunately, then I met a financial guru, and the financial guru changed my life. And he taught me a lot about personal finance, and how to manage your finance. Today, I'm doing this again and again and again. Really is a huge respect for this man and what he has done for me. And really, I want to give it back to other people what this man has done for me. Okay. So what happened after Asia financial crisis is that he taught me about the power of compounding. Now, for some of you all who don't understand the power of compounding, essentially what it says is that if you have $1 and you invest the $1 in something that gives you a 4% return, it will give you a 3.24 times return. Now, if you can find something that gives you an 8% return over 30 years, you give a 10 times return. Okay, and if you find something that gives you a 10% return and let it compound over 30 years, that give you a 17 times return. What we are saying is this, that the art of investment is find a high return rate investment and let it compound over a long time. Okay, so really this is what the investment is all about. It's not about trying to buy low, sell high, buy low, sell high, buy low, sell high, that kind of thing. It's really about finding something that compounds and and make money out of it. And I'll talk a lot more about it later. So with this knowledge, I found that first of all, the person who says that this is the eighth wonder of the world, he's Albert Einstein. Albert Einstein, of course, is an incredible scientist from the World War II era, and he understands everything, the nuclear science and all this. But he says this, right? Whoever understands it earns it, and if you don't understand it, you pay the person who understands it. So I wish that tonight everybody understands the power of compounding. Okay. So after I was burned badly in 1997 for a few years by the Asia financial crisis, I came to realize that I can build a financial safety net. Okay, and the financial safety net comes from the CPF. I've said this many times. Some of y'all don't like the government. Some of y'all don't like CPF. You can don't like government. You can hate the CPF, but don't hate their money. Okay, because the CPF has a powerful interest rates of 2.5% enshrined into the CPF Act. Okay, in our constitution, and in the special account and the MediSave account, it has a 4% return. Okay, with this knowledge of this, so just now we mentioned, right, a 4% return, you put $1 in 30 years time, you get 3.24 times. So somewhere along the line, I think maybe due to public pressure and also maybe some heavy voices from the ground, the government decided that the first 60,000 they will add an extra percent, and add an extra percent, and when you get a CPF at 55 years old, at the time to get a CPF, to encourage you to put some more money behind, they put an additional percent. So your interest rates for your CPF can go as high as 6%. Okay, so the 4% return was very high. Where else can you find a 4% return that is nearly risk-free? Okay, so with that, me and my wife decided to take advantage of this. Now, I'll cut some of the humor that I used to do when on stage, but essentially we follow this magic formula, right? If I can, at the age of 30, put in $130,000 and let it compound over 35 years to my 65, okay? And do this for my wife as well. Both of us combined, we have $1 million. I say again, both of us each work very hard, be very frugal, save $130,000 into both our special account, MediSave account, and let it compound over 35 years. And both of us will have $1 million. Okay. Now, there's a lot of problem with this formula. Okay. The first problem with this formula is that it assumes that you stop working. You stop working and you don't work for the rest of your life from 30 years old, and you still have $1 million, which is wonderful. But the problem with this is that actually most of us will continue to work for the next 35 years, even if you fill this up. So what happens when you fill up, when you continue to work and continue to contribute CPF? And that's where I always wanted to find out how much I make, but I didn't have the time. And it's a computational challenge to do it. Okay. So fast forward 15 years. Because of this coronavirus, my traveling, I do a lot of travels every month, but my traveling cut down tremendously. So I have time to sit down in my room. And one fine day, I've decided I'm going to put some simple Excel skills to work at this. First of all, I need to find out how much do I have in my CPF. And so fast forward. So this is what I did when I was 30 years old. And fast forward 15 years, at 45 years old, me and my wife combined crossed $1 million in our CPF. Okay, combined cross $1 million on CPF. And actually, right now I'm 48 years old. And how much do my wife and I have in our CPF right now? So at 45, we crossed $1 million. And just to let you know, at 48 years old, we now have $1.34 million in our CPF. And that excludes our housing installments and mortgages and down payments that were made. So this is just plain CPF balance and some investments that I have in my CPF investment scheme, $1.34 million. Now, $1.34 million, some of you said, 130, but it start off with $130,000. You start off with $130,000 at the age of 30, right? And you continue to work and you compound and you get 1.3 something million dollars. Now, just in case some of you all say that $130,000 is very difficult to do at the age of 30, I must tell you that I've met many people right now around 30 years old have just met FRS. Okay, there are many people in the online chat group that has privately told me that I've met my FRS. In fact, I'm going to write an article on some of these wonders. Just to let you know, FRS is the full retirement sum. It's the minimum sum that the government require you to have. It's the maximum the government require you to have in your special account. And today the FRS stands at $181,000. So actually, there are a lot of people is going to do far more better than I did. Okay, so they are much younger, and I'm glad to say that by the time they reach my age, they will have more money than 1.34 million. So the key question is this. So my wife and I, we are age 48 years old right now, or 47 going to 48 years old right now this year. So the question is, how much would our CPF be when we're 65 years old? Now, that's not a simple punching of calculators and Excel anymore, and it's very complicated. So, but fortunately or unfortunately, because of the COVID-19 virus, I'm stuck in Singapore, so I decided to put some Excel skills to use. So I with a base of $1.34 million, I decided that I'm gonna figure out at 65 years old what is my CPF balance. And I use some Excel skill, I map it out, and forecast it, make some reasonable assumption, and guess what's the number, okay? So it's a very big number. And I decided that, my Excel skill is probably not accurate enough, not true enough. So I decided I've called for help. Some of you all who have seen me calling for help in the WhatsApp chat group, I actually called for help, and 12 people responded to me, and I enlisted their help. And what I did was that I sent them my spreadsheet, have my numbers inside, and asked them to fine-tune it. Now, different people have different Excel skills and make different assumptions, so they work out separately. 12 of them, most of them come back with number fairly close to mine, okay? And some of them even far overshoot mine because of aggressive assumption. But the answer is this, okay? If I continue to work, and me and my wife continue to work until 65 years old, our total CPF balance will have $3.4 million, okay? And that does not include the CPF IS balance. And you assume that the CPF IS balance, I put in some stocks and shares, has right now 175,000. It will grow to 600,000 if you assume a 7% growth. It's very possible to grow to 7%. You put it into a fund like S&P 500 or so. So in short, what we're saying is that all I need to do is to continue to work. Okay, just continue to work, business as usual between me and my wife. We each have a salary of $6,000 and above with 1 month bonus, assuming government do not change the contribution rate downwards and the interest rate downwards. We would have $4 million when we retire at 65. Okay. Now, some of you may say that, hey, the investment return from the CPF IS it has some risk. Okay, I buy that. Minimally 3.4 to 3.5 million. And if you factor in a reasonable growth, we'll have $4 million. Now, but that's also not a reasonable assumption. Why is this so? Okay, because I won't sit there and let my ordinary account of 2.5% collect dust. What I'll do, which is what I'm doing right now, is I'm waiting for the stock market. As it crash, I'll buy some stocks. Crash, I'll buy some stocks. Crash, I'll buy some stocks. So over time, right? What if I invest all my wife and my OA ordinary account into the S&P 500 and let it compound? And let's say the rate of return is 7%. This is the number. This is a frightening number. Okay. To be frank, it doesn't require a lot of effort. All you need to do is put continue to work, okay, both husband and wife, make a reasonable income of 6,000 and above, and put all your ordinary account into investments that give you a 7% CAGR. I wrote there Endowers enabled, because right now only Endowers the company is a interesting finance investment company. They have worked with CPF, and CPF have approved them to enable our CPF ordinary account to be used to purchase S&P 500, which is one of my favorite investment counter. Okay, and last is that my wife and I pay our housing mortgage using cash. Okay, number one is we don't stay in an expensive house; we stay in HDB, and we use cash to pay for our housing mortgage, because the bank interest rate is a lot lower than what the returns rate that we'll get in our CPF. So if you do this, the returns to the CPF jumps up to a phenomenal $5 over million, right? Now, this is where most of calculations start to differ a lot, because more aggressive assumptions are put in. But generally, most of us will hover around $5 million or more. So in short, 4 million by 65 years old, 4M65 is achievable. Is it easy? No, it's not easy, okay? You have to do a lot when you're young, okay? And continue to work when you're old. Use cash to pay for housing mortgages. Live a fairly frugal life, okay? You don't need to suffer too much, okay? I don't suffer too much. But you can achieve 4 million by 65, okay? It's not a walk in the park, but it's very achievable. What do we need to do for Mr. and Mrs. Lu for 4M65? Number one is both of us need to live until 65. So we have to stay healthy, and we have to stay married. Now, there's a lot of couples, there's a lot of singles in our group that ask me, can this be achieved alone? Okay, that means, can I achieve 2M65 alone? My answer is this: it's more difficult. Why? Because when you have, 1 plus 1 is not I always say 1 plus 1 is not 2, 1 plus 1 equals to 4. But when you break it up, okay, and just do it alone, it's very difficult, a lot more difficult, because 1% have to pay for your housing mortgages alone, and that draws away a lot of your CPF. So I urge everybody, those who are married, stay married and work together towards this goal. Those who are not married, don't worry. You have you can still shoot for it. It's a lot more tougher, but it's not impossible. 1M65 alone is very possible. 1.5M probably possible. 2M stretching it, for a loan single, I think it's a lot more difficult. Second is that you got to continue to work until 65 years old. Each person needs to earn $6,000 and above, with at least 1 month of bonus. Now, if you get more month of bonus, it increases the amount quite a lot. So the next point is that don't use your CPF. We don't use our CPF to pay for our property mortgages. Okay, and I'll talk about that really. And last is right now for 4M65, not 5M65 or 6M65, just for 4M65. I currently put 10% of our CPF portfolio into equities that use 7% annually, and that's all I need to do. Right? 10% is not too much. Okay, it can be done. Now I have 12 Excel auditors. After I send the file out, they make the audits and make some changes. I ask them eventually, are you convinced of this 4M65 strategy? These are what they say. Right, there's a Mr. Ng, I won't quote the full name. He said, of course, I'm convinced about 4M65 strategy. It's more achievable, right, than investing in other asset classes where there is knowledge, risk, and luck. And you can read it for yourself, right? Everybody, almost everybody said good. There's a lady asked me, say, no, Lou, this is a good job. Please go spread the good news, and that's why I am today. Okay. Now, is 4M65, 5M65 the max you can hit? Probably not, because there are some ideas that people gave me, and these are the ideas. Now, the first idea is that if I work 2 jobs, the CPF has a contribution limit of $37,740 per job, not per person, per job. If you work 2 jobs, you can fire 2 times $37,740 per person a year. So if I work 2 jobs, then you can increase it by $500,000 to $7,000 when you retire. Now, some of you all may be a bit difficult. I actually work 2 jobs, so this is a lot more possible for me, but not everybody finds it easy. Second is that, I've assumed $6,000 a year and 1 month of bonus. It actually doesn't hit the contribution ceiling of $37,740. Okay, and supposing you use cash to top up the difference between $37,740 and what you actually can contribute, in the calculation you add $100,000. Now some of you all actually said, Mr. Lu, can you actually put cash to repay the accrued interest and the housing loan that we use CPF? Of course you can. I don't know how much, because each housing loan and each person is different. I cannot do an easy calculation for this. I think for an average household, I think you can easily add $500,000 on this one. But this is a more difficult to calculate. There's this thing called special account shielding. This is a concept. Many people talk about it in the WhatsApp group. I've mentioned it. Sorry, in the Telegram group I mentioned it before. It's simply a way that Lorna Tan from the Straits Times actually mentioned in an article that just before it hit 55 years old, they park the money out of SA into a bond, so that the CPF will take money from OA instead of SA, and then after 55 years old, you return back your CPF from the bond. Long story short, go read the article. If you want, we can blast it again in the Telegram group. But that easily add another 25,000 or so to the group. So in short, there are many ways to grow money out of CPF. 4M65, is actually for me a baseline. Okay. Many of you ask me, Lou, can I have a spreadsheet? Can we have a spreadsheet or whatever? The problem is that the spreadsheet is very complicated, and it's not just one spreadsheet. we have got at least 5 or 6 versions of spreadsheet, and they're all not user-friendly. What is worse is that if I send out a spreadsheet, number one is my confidential information inside. Number two, because it's not confidential, it's not user-friendly, we're going to have many people asking me how to use it, you know. I already very boring already, because everybody asks me a lot of questions, especially CPF policy-related question in our group. Thanks to many people who actually helped me answer all these questions. But one of our fans, one of 1M65 fans, actually worked out a impressive app. Okay, he's in the process of working on an app, and this is actually in beta and is ready right now. I've tested it, it works. The calculations are very close to our Excel. All you need to do is to key in your birthday on the left, key in your current OA and SA and MA, and these are fictitious numbers. Put in your salary and then press calculate. They will actually calculate how much you will have at 65 years old. Okay, very impressive. The app is in development right now. That's a one special plus. If you join the 1M65 Telegram group that we have, you know, you will be alerted of where to download and how to download this. Akan Datang is coming soon. Some of you will say, Mr. Lu, how do I join the Telegram group? First of all, please download the app Telegram. Some of you might want to do a screen capture of this screen. Is you can click this URL t.me/lu@1m65 lu1m65. If you click this group, okay, you will find our Telegram page, and then please join us. Okay, please join us. We have got 2,300 members right now, and we are a lot of our fans are very active in contributing. A lot of fans are very active in contributing to help answering all the questions. Okay, this is an incredible breakthrough. We are probably one of the largest finance chat group on Telegram that we help people to answer all questions. Okay, so I think it's a wonderful thing. We will encourage everybody to join our group. I will put, once the app is ready, I'll put it in. So akan datang, please do take note. Okay, so once again, t.me/lu1m65. Okay, thank you. Okay, thanks. I see a lot of people joining in. That's wonderful. Okay, next. Okay. Okay, so just to let you know, in 2015, CPF bot interviewed me and interviewed my 1M65 strategy, and that's where I first make known my 1M65 strategy. People initially don't believe, and eventually people get to move from a disbelief to a belief. Straits Times has published my article. Has published an article showcasing me and my mentee, and that's where the word 1M65 first came out. Okay, saving 1 million through 65. Gradually, even websites that are not pro-government also start publishing this, and it is a wonderful affirmation that now that we really have one of a discovery of a money-making strategy. Okay, Men's Health magazine, Young Parents, Dollars and Cents, Business Times, Straits Times, everybody, right? Sunday Times. So that's where I first started. I realized that everybody should get to learn this skill, and I started a movement. Okay, and many companies, many institutions, many organizations have invited me for talks. Some of you have attended my talks more than 5 to 10 times because I keep seeing your faces. This, I'm proud to say, this is my 73rd talk. Okay, this 73rd talk, and I've reached out to tens of thousands of Singaporeans. What we want to do is to start a movement. I've shared with you this thing. Please go spread the word. Okay, we want to take care of fellow Singaporeans. We want to encourage all of them to take advantage of this 1M65 strategy, so that their retirement will be very secure and their money will be adequate. Okay. Incidentally, on this slide, you may realize that these are 4 different occasions. 3 of them have the same clothes. Just get to show that I always wear these clothes. I don't have a lot of clothes. This is funny, right? Okay. Anyway. Okay. So more talks. Okay. This was a talk. Now I was invited by CPF to give a talk to CPF about CPF. All right. So this was on the right is the former CEO and the deputy CEO. giving me an affirmation on a 165 strategy. Nowadays, we stop pointing the finger one, we start pointing the number 4 already. Okay. And I was proud to say that, I was very honored and very humbled to be given a public sector transformation award. And people start calling me Mr. CPF, and it's a great honor, although a very unusual name. So, okay. Now I realized that by giving talks, I can only reach out to so many people. Like tonight, I think we have got 300 over people online in both YouTube and in the system. But if I write, I can reach out more people. And so I started writing. I started writing and contributing articles to various publishers. So if you Google my name, you will find my articles in Dollars and Cents, Yahoo Finance, SingSaver, and so on. Right? I try to encourage people to read up how to make money and things like that. I don't just talk about 1M65 or 4M65. In fact, if you have paid attention to one of my articles, by now you have escaped the wrath of the downturn on the stock market. So my kids have also started on 1M65. This is my daughter Kate. Some of y'all who have heard her spoke last Sunday in Devanai Institute. She actually put all her Sec 4 holidays, schools, part-time work into the CPF, and by the time she retires, she will make 10 times the amount. Okay, and that's the power of compounding over a long time. So we talk so much about CPF millionaire, and what's holding everybody back from becoming a CPF millionaire? This one, okay, because many Singaporeans are property crazy. Many Singaporeans like to invest in property, and that's a problem when you are, and that's probably not a problem in the past. For the last 30, 40 years, Singapore was started from low base. We have a huge, incredible economic miracle. So that's why everything went up. Property went up in a big way. I think the good old days are over. If you look at it, the last 10 years, the property market has been pretty stagnant. And that's a common phenomenon that you see in mature economy. So, and in fact, an article came out recently in the Business Times, in the Straits Times, that they say that yield from CPF actually surpassed that of private property, which means that you invest in private property, the appreciation of a private property is even lousier than the 2.5% you get from CPF. Okay, so it's now even better if you put your money in CPF than investing in property. So I encourage everybody to think carefully when you want to buy a private property or buy a second property. Now, I can say that I'm really can buy almost many different type of properties, but I still stay in HDB. Why? Because HDB gives the best value for money, and I can put the money into compounding in a CPF and other money yielding assets. Many of you think of CPF as a retirement tool, and that's probably also because CPF market themselves as a retirement tool. I want you to think of CPF now as a get-rich tool. Don't think of it as a retirement tool. There are very few people can say that I can retire with $4 million with confidence. Okay, now, and $4 million is a lot of money. And if you think that you cannot live until 65 years old, nowadays people live until 80 over years old, 90 over years old. 65 years old is now a norm. So please think of CPF as a get-rich tool. Once you think of it and respect it as a get-rich tool, you will try to use it, and invest it in the right way. Okay. So I'm going to touch on my last part of my talk, which is many of you ask me again and again, Mr. Lu, the market has crashed right now. What should we do? Okay. And I need to say first that, this is a very dangerous question to ask me because this constitutes to investment advice. Richard has just now already caveat that whatever advice you give, is really for your self-education. If you have listened to my talk and also read my articles, in May last year, I wrote this article. It's published on the internet on Dollars and Cents. It may be even published in Yahoo Finance. I gave a serious warning that a imminent market crash is coming. I wrote specifically, you can see the headline, a stock market crash is coming. Are you ready for it? Okay. And I explained what should you do and things like that. And right after the article, I sold all my non-US index stocks, especially my STI index, which is what I call super terrible index. Okay, and all my loose stocks, and I sold them all away and waited and waited and waited. And I didn't expect the crash to come, but to come so fast and come in this way, but a market crash came. This is today from the stock market, from Singapore stock market. This is the STI index. The STI index has crashed to 2,683 points. Okay, and it was at a high over the last 6 months. It was still at a high of 3,200 points. It crashed by roughly about 18% or so. Okay, close to 20%. Now, 3,200 points is not the peak. 3,200 points 6 months ago is way below the peak. The peak was 3,800 points, and that was in that was in the year 2007. Okay, so if you were to calculate if from that peak, which may not be reasonable, if you take 2,680 divide by 3,800, okay, the market has tanked by 30%. 30%. Okay, and that is anything that crashes by more than 20% is considered a bear market. We are now in a bear market. This is a big bear right now. Okay, this is the S&P 500. I predict that tonight, I think market is open. I don't know anybody who is on this seminar can tell me what's the index right now. I expect it to crash because Asia has crashed, and President Donald Trump has also came up with a decree that stopped all airlines from flying from Europe into US, and that basically killed the oil company and kill the airlines and kill the oil company, and that will lead to a further crash. So just to let you know, the S&P 500 crashed by about 20%. Okay. From this point, I also want to highlight one thing. Okay, if you can see the stock market of US, the US have went up. Okay, the US stock market has went up and up and up and up and up and up over the last 6 months. In fact, it has went up over the last 10 years, up and up and up. Okay, but the STI has not even recovered back to the 3,800 points. So in good times, the US stock market rose phenomenally, where the Singapore stock market stay flat. In bad times, they crash in the same magnitude. So some of you are still, there's many people who are still wrote in Seedly, in some other platform, and say that it's good to STI is still a good index. You know, STI is a good index. My foot, okay, it's a super terrible index. I have an article. Please go and Google for it. It's called STI, the super terrible index. Okay, and I discourage everybody from buying. I learned the hard way. I've got a huge amount of money dumped in over 15 years ago in the STI, and I held it for 15 years only to know that it has not grown much, and sadly, just last year, I sold everything. I didn't lose money. I made some money, but had I put it into S&P 500, I would make 2 or 3 times. Okay. So, what's everybody telling me right now? They ask me, Mr. Lu, what stock are you buying right now? Or what are you buying? And I tell them that it's a great Singapore sale. Some of you have seen in my group, I say it's a great stock market sale right now. You know, everybody say it's way too early. The market will crash further, you know. And you know something, I didn't put this on slide because it can constitute to later a legal liability. You can never buy the lowest point. Okay, you can never buy lowest point. Will the stock market rebound tomorrow? Probably not. But will it crash further? I don't know, right? So what I usually do in bear markets is that, first of all, I calculate what's my available budget. Okay, and let's personify this budget as bullets. Okay, what I'll do is that I'll cut up this budget into 10 to 20 pieces. Okay, let's say I have $100,000. I'll break out into maybe $5,000 each bite size. And every time it crashes, there'll be days where it crashes. I buy in bite sizes. I buy. And if it doesn't crash, it goes up. Good, let's just wait. And then you crash further and crash further. I'll buy and buy and buy. So I'll basically buy as it goes down. And over time, all crashes, I've been through so many of them. I've been through the 2008 financial crisis. I've been through the Europe debt crisis, and I've been through the China stock market crash. Every crashes will rebound. Okay, as it rebound, I buy it up again, right? So I'm buying through the wave as it crashes and as it goes up. There's no emotions, there's no feeling, there's no fear, and it's just plain discipline and logic. Once it hits cross into bear market, I start buying in bite sizes and buy and buy and buy and buy, and I ride it out. Okay, and I ride it out and people ask me, do you think it's way too early? I think it's too early to buy. Market will crash further. A lot of these people eventually miss out on the stock market. Okay, this does not constitute me telling you to buy now. I'm telling what I'm doing. Okay, I don't want to say that you should be doing this, but from my experience, a lot of people will miss out on this whole wave because they're just too frightened of it, right? So I've adopted a disciplined way. As a crash, I buy. As a crash, I buy. As a crash, I buy in bite sizes. Okay, that's essentially what I do. I've done it at least 3 to 4 times across many major crashes, and I'm doing it again right now. Okay, what stopped my buying? I have said what do I like to buy again and again and again and again for years. Many of you have heard it. Today is unfortunate day that I cannot say what I buy. Okay, because it will constitute to a buying advice. But I think whatever it is, I think is good to buy something that will stand the test of time, that will compound over a long period of time. Okay, so I've come to the end of my seminar. I just want to say this. Okay, think of an investment strategy right now that if you have your 1M65 or 4M65 as a strategy ready, when market crashes like this, you've got nothing to fear. Right? This market crash, I was happy and jumping up like a bird, right? Because number one, I got 4M65 in the roadmap. I got $1.35 million now sitting in CPF. I've got a lot of money that I preserve as ammunition. I'm ready to fire off. Okay, now the only thing I want to do, encourage everybody, is to make sure you form a financial safety net. Do everything carefully, and last is stay healthy, stay safe. The COVID-19 virus is not the end of the world. Just continue to stay safe and take advantage of the market as it happens. Okay, so with this, I think that's all I have for tonight. There's a Q&A right now. I think many of you have some questions. Richard, can you take over from this point?
Yes. Okay. Thanks a lot, Mr. Lu. Wow, that was a very, very enlightening session and sharing that you have done to recap what is 1M65 and how to grow that to 4M65. I think one of the very important takeaway that I've got is to not think of CPF as a retirement tool, but to think of it as a wealth creation tool. I think this is very important. Unfortunately, or rather, since young, everybody have been brought up by the marketing that CPF have done, that CPF is for retirement, CPF is for retirement. So it never crossed my mind to think of CPF as wealth creation. So I think for the people who are attending, who are young, or young at heart, all right, please heed Mr. Lu's advice. And if you have questions, for those of you who are the almost 200 of you inside the webinar room, please type in the question in the chat box that you see on your screen right now. So type in whatever questions that you have, and then Mr. Lu will be able to address them for you tonight. So if you are watching on YouTube, you can't type any questions there. So please join us inside the room. We still have space for about 25. There are about 140 people watching on YouTube and about 170 people inside the webinar room. But in order to ask questions, you need to be inside the webinar room. So if you're watching on YouTube and you have a question, please join us in the webinar room. There is still space in the webinar room, so please do come in. So, Mr. Lu, there are already some questions on that have came in. So you can click on the moderation word in the chat.
Okay.
And then you should see the pop-up of all the questions there. Okay.
Okay.
So you take a look as which are the questions that you would like to answer. And then again, for those of you who have questions, please post them into the webinar room right now. Okay, Mr. Lu, please take a look at the questions.
Okay, there are a lot of questions on S&P 500, and many of you are asking where to invest them. First of all, if you are using cash, there are a lot of options out there. Okay, if you're using cash, there are a lot of options out there. You can buy through iFast, you can buy through Fund Supermart, which is iFast. You can buy through Endowers. You can also buy through the stock market counters. There are some S&P 500 counters that are Ireland domicile, not US domicile. They will avoid 13% withholding tax. I think if you use the Irish one, there's a 15% withholding tax instead of 30. If you buy the Singapore listed one, like in iFast or Endowers, they basically take care of everything. So I have I must confess that I have right now more lean towards the Singapore one. The truth is that I think their fees are a little bit higher than those that are those that are listed if you can buy in the stock market from the US. But for me, I just want a peace of mind and easy to administer, so I do that. For some of you mentioned that for CPF funds, yes, CPF right now only Endowers can do it. I don't know how they managed to convince the CPF board, but they are only one that can accept S&P 500. Yes, they are encouraging you to invest in non-S&P 500 funds. I think they are trying to encourage you to have a portfolio of bonds and equities. That means on top of your CPF funds, your S&P fund, buy some bonds as well. It's not a wrong strategy. Okay, it's not a wrong strategy. In fact, I do that as well in my own private hedge fund. So I think it's not a wrong strategy. So listen to them and see what it says. I'm not. I am in belief that what they're recommending is not wrong. But for me, I love the S&P 500. I've got enough in bonds, so I just do S&P 500. Okay. Let me see this. I'm coming in initiative. Find so good to start wrong benefit. Okay. I think I've answered this question. There's a question on how does a single achieve 2M65. I've said before, for a single is more difficult, but I've seen individuals that can do that. All you need to do is to be very frugal. Don't buy a big house. Buy a reasonable HDB flat. Okay, and start very young. Okay, start very young as possible to top up your SA and let it compound. Okay. Someone asked, so there's a Kang say, why don't you invest on US share but only prefer S&P 500 index? I need to say this, okay? I don't like to pick individual shares, okay? Because individual share risks are very high. Okay, so if I'm going to devote, and very few people can beat the market over a long period of time. I can safely say 99.9% of you guys online here and most of you all would like to buy individual shares. Most of you will not do as well as the S&P 500, okay? And that's simply because there are almost no professional fund managers that beat the S&P 500. There's just very few of them, okay? So given that I'm not even a fund manager myself, and I don't have time to look at individual stocks and shares. I'm not Warren Buffett. So I've decided that, a 6 to 8% return is good enough for me. So I just let it, and S&P 500 will compound over a long period of time. I love compounding and just let it ride. Okay, so when you buy individual shares, there's a lot of buying and selling and buying and selling. It doesn't compound. It doesn't guarantee a compound. But when you take a broad market of 500 best company in US and probably in the world, it compounds, and I love the compounding. I like to buy something, idiot-proof, leave it there and walk away, ignore it. 10, 20 years later, come back, wow, what a big amount, okay? So how can we take up the 4 million at age 65? Okay, this is a CPF question. First of all, I need to take a step back. Everyone needs to be educated on CPF. Again and again, we get a lot of questions. Every day, every hour, we get a lot of questions on Telegram asking us about CPF policies. And there's a few very warm and really golden, warm-hearted members that kept us answering questions on behalf of CPF. So this chat group is not to be CPF help desk. You can easily go to CPF webpage and look out in the FAQ, and they'll teach you a lot. But just for this group's sake, for tonight, I'll just say this. At 55 years old, not even 65, at 55 years old, what the government will do is that they will take the FRS amount, which is 181,000 now, and it will grow up by the year. And then they'll park this $181,000, okay, which is they'll take out first from an SA, and if it's not enough, they'll take out some from an OA and dump it into this thing called RA. And let it compound to 65 years old at 4%, and from there it starts dispersing out to you as a CPF life. Okay. Anything above $181,000 you can take out any time. So in short, any amount above $181,000 of your 2 million alone, okay, you can take it out immediately like a cash withdrawal ATM machine. I think today they even allow pay now. So I hope that answers a question, CWZ. I don't like to stock pick, so please don't ask me to buy DBS, US stock like Google or whatever, because how confident are you that you can beat the market? Okay. With my strategy, I can only take out money at age 55. Yes, I can only take out money at 65. Do you know how people actually make money? Most people make money because they do not touch their money and let the money compound. The minute we allow people to buy, sell, take in and out is where the people lose money. Think about it. Why so in the past so many people make money in property? It's because once they buy a property, it's very difficult to sell. So they let it compound a long period of time. Same in stocks, but many people don't like to buy and hold. They like to buy and sell. Okay. So in my strategy, leaving money in the CPF, I let it compound a long period of time so that money can be taken out at 55 and above. Okay. Buying, someone said buying in bit size means buying every month or buying only when the market crashed further. Okay, so there's no right or wrong in this. There's a strategy called dollar cost averaging, which encourages everybody to buy periodically, either every week, every month, or every quarter or whatever. I like to buy when market crashes. Okay, so when the market crash, I buy. Like today, I went to buy. Okay, and as it crash, I buy. I crash, I buy. Crash, I buy. Okay. How do you buy S&P 500 using CPRS? I already answered the question just now. Okay, you go and look for Endowers. Endowers is a company that is a fund management company that you can just Google, and they actually is the only company right now that allow a CPF OA to be invested. Okay, so for Endowers, which S&P 500 fund? They have the Vanguard fund. Okay. I would like to ask okay. Someone asked me, what am I going to do with $4 million when I'm 65 years old? This is a very interesting question, right? Some people, thinks that $4 million is a lot of money. I enjoy making money. Okay, so whether it's 4 million, 40 million, or 4 million, I just enjoy it. I don't have a interest in spending much of money. I'm a person who enjoy making money. Okay. Would you consider CPF as a form of bond rather than buying bonds per se? CPF is a type of bond. That's true, but CPF doesn't have the feature of bonds, in a sense that bond prices will go up when the interest rate go down. So it doesn't have the feature, so it's not quite the same. China is up and coming. Do you think it's wise to invest in China ETF instead of S&P 500 ETF? The China stock market is not a mature market, right? The China stock market has crashed since 2015 and has never recovered since then. It's a very highly speculative market. It has not stand the test of time. So because it has not stand the test of time, I do not like to take the risk of investing something for 10, 20, 30 years, just like I did for the STI. And then after that, I realized I wasted 15 years. How many 15 years do I have? Can I use a CPF share? You can't except for the S&P 500, okay? Would you invest in a global index or CPF or S&P 500 index? I'm considering the two. There are some global index, I think dimensional or dimension fund is almost a close clone of the S&P 500. This kind of fund, I'm actually indifferent towards them. So yes, I'm pretty indifferent towards dimensional fund. In fact, I have some money in dimensional fund as well. Okay. Someone just told me that the Dow Jones is down 7.5%. Can someone tell me what's the Dow Jones right now? Sorry, the S&P fund right now, because I'm in a talk right now. I can't tell how much is it right now, but yes. So someone asked me, how would I define a crash? I don't define crashes. I think there are publicly accepted terminology. They generally define 20% from the peak as a bear market. Okay, as a bear market. So anything between 20 to 60% is something that is a crash now. So we are now definitely in a bear market. S&P 500 has went down 7%. Thanks, AL. They told us. Okay, so I think it's very interesting. So the market has crashed again and again. It's very after this talk, I'm going in. Okay, so this does not constitute to me telling you all to buy, but I'm buying. Okay, so Mr. Lu, you mentioned buy during the crash or on days when the stock pick up. Do you buy too? So as I said, I buy as a crash, I buy as a crash, and over time, the bear market will start to turn a bull, start to reverse, and I'll continue to buy on the rise as well. So I generally do that as well. Okay. Would you stop giving talks on 1M or 4M or when the talk reach 100? I don't have any plans to stop talking yet. My single biggest problem is that my voice is giving way. So when my voice gives way, I'll stop talking. So better exploit me when I'm still able to talk. Okay. What is more to do when I've hit when I hit FRS and BHS and maxing out on your mandatory contribution? Nothing. If you have hit all the limits, I advise you to put the excess funds, provided you have enough cash as for rainy day. If I'm in a position, which I am really in a position, I put money into a global index and let it compound. Is bank loan better than HDB loan right now? Yes, because the interest rate is lower. There are some other risks, but yes. It appears that you're building a very large legacy for my children. That is not exactly true, because I haven't decided whether my kids should deserve all my money. Me and my wife have discussed at length, whether we want to give all our money or not. But one thing for sure is that while they are young, they will not get money from us. Okay, we as parents should not take away. We should not take away the need to work hard, the need to save, the need for thrift, and the need to be smart and need to invest. So if I ever pass them money, it will be when they are much older and wiser. Siu Hong asks, how do we open up CPF account for my children? For our children, they are not working age yet. This is another CPF related question. The CPF right now is enabled. An account is enabled for all Singaporeans at birth. So the minute your baby bonus comes in, I think it's the first $4,000, your CPF is up. So all our kids at birth has CPF account, can start topping up then. Okay, I see the S&P 500 is down 7%. Thank you. Okay, that's wonderful. Okay. do we hit? I think they hit a circuit breaker. Okay. So someone asked, what's the strategy to buy when the market is going up? I don't buy a lot when the market goes up. Okay, I like to buy when it crash. Okay. Someone's asked me, do you use 200 SMA as a guide to start buying or selling? First of all, I think 200 SMAs refers to simple moving average or something like that. I'm a big non-believer of technical analysis. Okay. And I like to say that I'm also a big non-believer of value investing. I'm not a believer of dividend investing. And just to say that, you don't need to know all this to make a lot of money, right? All you do is to know that CPF helps you make money, put money in SA and let it compound. $4 million will wait for you and your wife by the time you reach 65 years old, okay, or more. For stock market, very easy, right? When the market crash, just dump money into S&P 500 and let it compound and just ignore it for the rest of your life. So you don't need to know all this complicated, sophisticated trading method. Maybe it's indeed the simple logic of it that makes people so reluctant to adopt such investment technique. I don't know this complicated investment technique anyway, okay? Someone asked me, do you start trading or investing, or do you and try reaching the 130,000 at the same time, or do you meet the 130,000 first, then trade invest? For myself, I have a unique experience because of the Asia financial crisis. I actually put in $130,000 first, form a financial safety net, then I start dabbling with shares. So that's me. Now, I think there's a lot of comfort in doing that because I now know that I have a financial safety net. Then after that, when I invest, I have no cold feet. So I think it's something more safer. Okay, I'm actually quite a risk averse person. Someone asked me, what do you think of Bitcoin? I think Bitcoin is a big scam. So I've got a lot of people who has around my life that lost a lot of money in Bitcoin. I think it's not even an asset. So I strongly discourage anybody who don't understand or half understand things to invest in Bitcoin. Okay, as a rule, if you don't understand, don't buy. Okay, and that's why I don't buy much asset, because I don't understand them. What I can understand, which is CPF, which I invest a lot in. I can understand S&P 500. I invest in a lot. I don't invest in a lot of other things. I don't understand private property very well. I only know a lot of people lose money or lose opportunity cost, so I don't invest in them. Okay. Can I invest in CPF? If I hit CPF FRS, what else can I do investing? Is investing in SRS a good idea? SRS is not investment, it's just an account for tax deferment. So SRS is called Supplementary Retirement Scheme. It's only useful if you have a high tax bracket. So Sherlyn, who asked a question, if you have a lot of kids, if your tax bracket is not very high, there's no value in you investing in SRS. Okay. Mr. Lu, can you advise? Okay, let's jump. Currently, John asked, currently the market is bad. Should I change from 100% change to 100% equity and take more risk instead of 60-40 bond? It's difficult to give you an answer on that. Okay, because it's very individual and the risk profile of everybody is different. So for me, I don't like to put all into equity. You should have a well diversified asset. So I have some money in bonds, some money in equities, some money in HDB flat, some money in CPF. So I in some sense I'm diversified. Okay. So the circuit breaker. Do I view gold as an asset class? Gold is an asset, but you know what? I don't understand gold. Okay. I don't think gold itself is productive. So gold itself doesn't produce anything. It's not like shares as a company behind. So gold itself, apart from admiration value, has no value. So I think it's a useful asset. I think gold is a useful asset when there is a crisis of a war or a major outbreak in life and death and things like that. Otherwise, I don't see gold as an important asset. Mr. Lu, would you invest your SA when stock market crash? SA has a 4% to 5% risk-free return rate. I don't think there's any instrument out there that can beat it. So when the stock market say gives you 7-8%, but it's not risk-free, it's not apple-to-apple comparison. So I will not invest my SA in any other thing, regardless of whether the stock market crash or not. Okay, someone asked, do you need 1M or even 4M when you're 65? So someone asked, do you need $1 million or $4 million when 65 years old? Funny, I actually get more of the other question. Many people ask, $1 million is not enough when we retire. You're probably one of a few that ask, why do we need $1 million? Okay, there's no right or wrong in this. I think, whether you need $1 million or not, depending on lifestyle. I know of many people that can live with $500,000 or 100,000. They are very frugal. I know of rich, flaunting people. You give them $40 million is also not enough. So it's really a lifestyle question. For me, I can live pretty simply, but I enjoy. I was poor. I'm rich. I can tell you that rich is better than poor. I think everybody knows that. Okay. So have I reached the end of my question? Oh, gosh, there's so many more questions. Okay. So can I put $100,000 to someone else that's reaching 55 so I can get a 2.5% return, assuming I cannot find a safe investment? First of all, it's very complicated whether you trust that person or not to give you back. Second of all, if he passed away before that and he goes to his nominees, you get nothing. And third is that when you can max put in 37,740 only, so you can't put $100,000 inside. Okay, so someone asked how to maximize your special account once you have fulfilled the FRS in your retirement account. Retirement account, I think the cap is not 181,000. Is someone can help me on this? Do some googling. I believe the number is 245 or $254,000 or something like that. The RA, so on top of the 181,000 FRS, you are allowed to put in an enhanced retirement sum of up to $250,000 or so. So you can maximize that amount as well, and that gives you a much better return. Okay. The enhanced, thank you, Leonard. The enhanced retirement sum is $271,500. So you can put in almost close to $90,000 more into your RA, and you can maximize the return. Okay. Would you consider FX loss when investing in the US market? US dollar is high now. Yes, there is foreign exchange differences, but you know what? Compared to the compounding, powerful compounding returns, I think the FX risk is very much lower. Okay. This is a good question by Ian. You mentioned you're buying tonight. How much bullets do you invest each time? And how many clips of bullets do you reserve for future purchases? And how do you average down? Okay, there's no right or wrong in this, but what I do is that out of the total portfolio I have, I break it up to 10 to 15 bits or 15 to 20 bits. Okay, and each of them will become one bullet, and I fire off one, and I hold back myself because I do not want to use up all my bullets, right? So the market crash, I shoot one bullet and I hold it back. As it crash, I shoot the second bullet the next day or the day after or 1 week later, and it crash, I shoot, and I crash, I shoot, I crash, I shoot. Okay, and this process can take a very long time or take a very short time, but usually it takes 2 to 3 or 4 or 5 months as it evens out. And so that's how I do it. It takes a lot of discipline to do it, so I think we all got to be very careful. Okay, should I maximize my SA to 270 instead of 181, or should I use additional $90,000 for S&P 500? It really depends on risk profile. Okay, the $181,000 that you can push it to 271,000 in your enhanced retirement scheme. It's a safe return at 4%. I'm not particularly keen. I probably think I as a person, I don't really bother about CPF Life. So I'm a person who prefer to put in additional money into other returns, instrument returns a higher return. Okay. Oh, okay, that's a good question. There's a Mr. Wong who says that, Mr. Lu, you have mentioned that it is more difficult to for single to reach 2M65 because of mortgages, etc. Would you be able to share how you manage your finances in order to raise 3 kids and reach your goals successfully? I think it's a very good question. First of all, there's just two words, okay? Frugality, right? Frugality, right? Just be very frugal. When I say frugal, means not stingy, frugal, right? 该花的花，不该花的不要花, which simply means that when you need to spend those money, you spend. Those that you don't need to spend, that's good to have, don't spend, especially when you're young. So when I raise my 3 kids, we stay in HDB. I still stay in HDB. I have a car. I drive a simple car, and when we go to hotel, when we go to holiday, we stay in simple hotel. I used to stay in 1-2 star hotel for a long time. Only in recent years, I started staying 4-star hotels. So it's just frugality, and start compounding as young as possible, and start teaching your kids the same thing as well. The other thing I don't talk a lot about is that you need to make sure that your spouse buy in together with this philosophy. Here, you're trying to save a lot of money. It will be terrible if your husband or your wife spends out all the money away. So you need to get husband and wife to be aligned in this. Okay. Next question. Are you worried that the CPF change a goalpost? Of course, we're worried, right? But the question is, are there other investment that has no risk? Okay. The CPF risk is a risk where it is a policy risk, but every other instrument have risk as well. So I would suggest that you assess what the risk of the policy risk versus the other risk, okay? And I came to the conclusion for myself that I think the policy risk is much lower than the investment risk in some other areas, okay? That's very nice of John. He says that I can end the seminar, can hear that I'm very tired. That's not true, okay? Okay, I think I've answered all the questions. Oh gosh, there's still some more, is it? Oh, no, yeah. Oh yeah, Leon says that if I do not do the CPF SA hack, will all the money in SA and OA become RA and put into CPF Life, only pay an annuity, even if my total RA is more than enhanced retirement sum? Now, again, this one is something I strongly urge you guys, please go and check out the CPF website. We are not CPF help desk, and we fear that we sometimes misrepresent. But in a nutshell, $181,000 will be put over to a retirement account. Anything above that, you can take out. Okay, and your 181,000 will be spread out over your remaining life to be given to you as CPF Life. Okay. So the market has reopened, and the market is down by another 1%. I'm assuming now the S&P down by 8%. Okay, so people like me will be very excited about it because we waited for a long time. The market now has crashed by 8%. So that's wonderful news for me. And okay, let me see. Great. Okay. Great. Okay. So so please join our Telegram chat group. We have our Telegram chat group. You can find out about Telegram chat group at Lu1M65 in our Telegram page. And there we have many warm-hearted members of the 165 group helping to answer some investment questions. I will be, some of you asked me for the slides, some of you asked for a video. We'll put up a bridge version, a summarized version of it in the group. We will continue to keep everybody updated about our CPF calculator, and see whether when it's ready, I'll let you all have it your own retirement at 65 years old, how much will you get? And hope that everybody will become multi-millionaires when you retire. Okay. So without that further ado, I think it's 10 o'clock. Everybody has stayed with me for a long time. Thanks a lot. I really appreciate this. May everybody stay from this market downturn and really encourage everyone to okay. So I finish my talk and hand it over to Richard. Thank you, Richard.
Thank you, Mr. Lu. Wow, what an enriching session we had. And very importantly is if you want to learn more about how to maximize the CPF along the journey, I'm sure you have more questions that you'd like to ask. So please join the Telegram group that Mr. Lu has set up for all of us at Lu1M65. And he has also typed that into the chat box that you can see. So search for that in Telegram. If you don't know what Telegram is, please install that app called Telegram. And then after that, you search for Lu1M65. Okay, so and also please also remember to join the OTCS Telegram channel. Search for Online Traders Club to be kept posted of other informative finance workshops and webinars that we will be holding for you. Okay, and again, my name is Richard. I'm one of the committee member of OTCS, and many thanks to Mr. Lu for sharing with us how to become a CPF multi-millionaire tonight. And may everyone reach their goal of 1M65 or 4M65. Okay, so Mr. Lu, thank you very much for your time. And
Thank you, everybody.
everybody can go and look at the market. If there's some action you'd like to take, please go ahead. All right. This is not financial advice, but just repeating what Mr. Lu is going to do later. Okay, so have a good night and a good rest. Cheers. Thanks, Mr. Lu. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.